Chapter 1. The Wake-Up Call. Have you ever wondered why some people, despite working just as hard as you, or maybe even less, seem to have it all together financially? Their bills are paid, they go on vacations without guilt, their kids' college funds are covered, and retirement doesn't scare them. Meanwhile, millions of hardworking people feel like they're running on a treadmill that never stops. They earn, they spend, and at the end of the month, there's barely anything left. If that sounds familiar, this chapter is your wake-up call. And let me tell you right now, it's not your fault. The system was never designed to make you wealthy. It was designed to keep you working, spending, and hoping for someday. But here's the truth. You can break out of that cycle, and you don't need to win the lottery, start the next billion-dollar startup, or have a trust fund to do it. We're going to talk about building wealth in a way that feels almost unfair in its simplicity. Because once you set up the system I'll share with you, your money will grow automatically. That's right, you'll literally be on the path to financial freedom while you sleep. Pause and ask yourself this. What would change in your life if you never had to worry about money again? Think about that for a moment. Would you finally take that trip you've been dreaming of? Would you spend more time with your family instead of stressing about bills? Or maybe you'd just breathe easier, knowing you're no longer one paycheck away from disaster. That's the promise of automatic wealth. But before we get to the system, you need to face a hard truth. Hoping things will get better isn't enough. Why hard work alone isn't enough. You've probably been told all your life that if you just work hard, you'll be fine. Get a job, climb the ladder, save when you can, and eventually, retirement will take care of itself. That's the traditional script. But look around. How many people actually retire comfortably following that plan? How many people do you personally know who live stress-free about money? The answer is usually, not many. And here's why. Working harder without a plan is like pouring water into a leaky bucket. No matter how much you add, it keeps draining away. Most people are stuck in that endless cycle. They think more money will solve their problems, but when they get a raise or a better job, the lifestyle creeps up. Expenses grow, wants grow, and the savings never seem to stick. If you've ever said to yourself, "I'll save once I earn more," I want you to pause right here and really reflect. Because here's the harsh truth. If you can't save when you earn little, you won't save when you earn more. The habit doesn't magically appear with a bigger paycheck. The real reason people struggle. It's not laziness, it's not stupidity, and it's not bad luck. The real reason people struggle with money is simple. They don't have a system. They rely on willpower, and willpower is unreliable. Think about it. At the end of a long day, when you're tired, stressed, and hungry, are you more likely to choose the salad or the burger? More likely to scroll through Netflix or go for a run? In the moment, we almost always choose comfort. And money works the same way. Without a system, every dollar you earn is up for grabs. Every choice becomes a battle. And guess what? Eventually, you lose. The wealthy understand this. They don't rely on willpower. They build systems that remove the choice altogether. Their money is invested before they can spend it. Their savings happen without effort. Their bills are paid automatically. And because of that, they don't worry. That's what we're going to build for you in this book. An automatic system that takes care of you, whether you're disciplined or not. Your wake-up moment. Now, here's where it gets real. I want you to think about your life right now. If you lost your job tomorrow, how long could you survive on your savings? A month? 2 months? Or would you be in trouble within weeks? That question alone should be your wake-up call. Because financial freedom isn't about having millions in the bank. It starts with security, the peace of mind that comes from knowing you can handle life's curveballs without panic. But here's the exciting part. No matter where you're starting from, you can turn it around. I've seen people with mountains of debt and almost no savings build a stable, wealthy life by making one decision to stop leaving their financial future to chance. and start automating their money. Why automation is the secret. Think of automation like a personal money assistant who works 24/7. It never forgets. It never gets tired. It never says, maybe next month. Once you set it up, it just works. In the background, building your wealth brick by brick. That's why this book is not about financial tricks, complicated budgets, or restrictive lifestyles. It's about one thing: creating a system so powerful that you can't fail. And here's the beauty: you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know everything about investing. You don't even need to be good with numbers. You just need to commit to setting up the system once and then letting it run. The promise of the journey ahead. By the time we finish this journey together, you'll know how to pay yourself first automatically without thinking about it. Get rid of debt without drowning in stress. Invest in a way that grows your money, even if you're not an expert. Build financial security that protects you no matter what happens. And most importantly, live a life of freedom and joy, because money is no longer a source of fear. Does that sound like something worth building? If it does, then stick with me. And while you're here, do me a favor: if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. I want to know, what's your wake-up call? When did you realize money stress was holding you back? Your story might inspire someone else who desperately needs to hear this. Closing thought. This first chapter is about opening your eyes. You can't solve a problem until you admit it exists. And the problem is simple. The old way of managing money doesn't work. Hard work alone isn't enough. Willpower alone isn't enough. But the good news? You don't need to fight anymore. You don't need to stress, struggle, or live with that constant pit in your stomach. There's a better way, and it starts now. So take a deep breath, let this truth sink in, and get ready. Because in the next chapter, we'll dive into the first step of escaping the money trap and building your path to automatic wealth. Chapter 2. Breaking free from the money trap. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning, check your bank account, and without lifting a finger, you see money has already been saved, your bills are covered, and your investments are growing. You didn't write a check. You didn't make a transfer. You didn't even think about it. It just happened. Sounds like a dream, right? But here's the reality. That dream is possible. The problem is, most people never get there because they're caught in what I call the money trap. The money trap is simple. You earn, you spend, and you hope there's something left over to save. And if there is, you put it aside. But more often than not, there isn't. Life fills the gap: unexpected expenses, dinners out, that new subscription you forgot to cancel, the car repair that shows up at the worst time. Before you know it, the month is over, and you're right back at zero. Does that cycle sound familiar? Pause and ask yourself, over the last 6 months, how many times did I actually save money first, before spending? Be honest. For most people, the answer is rarely, if ever. And that's the trap. Why willpower doesn't work. Here's the hard truth. You cannot budget your way to wealth if you're relying on willpower. Willpower is fragile, it cracks under pressure, and the world is designed to test it constantly. Everywhere you go, you're bombarded with ads, sales, limited-time offers, and buy now, pay later schemes. Companies spend billions studying your psychology, learning exactly how to make you click that button or swipe that card. Do you really think you can outmuscle that with sheer discipline? Of course not. Nobody can. And that's why so many smart, hardworking people still live paycheck to paycheck. Let me give you an example. Think about New Year's resolutions. Every January, millions of people promise to eat healthier, go to the gym, or finally get their finances in order. By February, most of those resolutions are gone. Not because people are weak, but because willpower fades. It always does. The solution isn't to try harder, it's to remove willpower from the equation altogether. That's what automation does. Automation is liberation. When you automate your finances, you're no longer relying on, maybe I'll remember, or hopefully I'll be disciplined this month. Instead, you build a system that works whether you feel like it or not. Your savings get pulled aside automatically. Your bills get paid automatically. Your investments grow automatically. And the best part? You can spend the rest guilt-free because the important stuff is already taken care of. That's freedom. That's how you break free from the money trap. Think about it. When your phone bill is set to autopay, do you stress every month about forgetting it? No, because it's handled. Imagine if your entire financial life worked that way. That's where we're headed. The someday lie. One of the most dangerous phrases in personal finance is, "I'll start saving when things calm down," or "I'll invest once I earn a little more." Here's the truth: someday never comes. There will always be something: a vacation, a car repair, a new gadget, school supplies for the kids. Life doesn't pause so you can get your finances in order. I once met a man who told me he'd start saving after his credit cards were paid off. That was 15 years ago. Guess what? He's still paying off credit cards, and he still hasn't saved a dime. If you wait until everything is perfect to begin, you'll never begin. That's the money trap whispering in your ear. And if you keep listening, it will steal decades of your life. Breaking free one step at a time. So how do you escape? You do it by flipping the script. Instead of saving what's left, you save first. You set it up so your money goes to the right places before you even see it. That way, spending can't sabotage your future. This is the foundation of becoming an automatic millionaire, or in our case, building automatic wealth. You build a system where your future self gets paid first, and your current self lives on what's left. It's not about cutting out every latte or living like a monk. It's about designing a process that works in the background, quietly building your financial freedom while you enjoy your life today. And here's the best part: you only need to set it up once. Then it runs forever. The emotional freedom of automation. Let's talk about the mental side for a moment. Money stress is one of the leading causes of anxiety, depression, and even divorce. When you're constantly juggling bills, worrying about debt, or feeling guilty for not saving, it takes a toll. But when you automate, that stress disappears. You don't lie awake at night wondering if you're on track. You know you are. Because the system is working, even while you sleep. Pause and ask yourself, what would it feel like to know, with absolute certainty, that I'm building wealth every single day, even when I'm not thinking about it? Hold on to that feeling, because that's the freedom we're working toward. Your first action step. Here's your homework. Write down where your money goes right now. Don't overcomplicate it. Just make a list of your paycheck, your bills, and your typical spending. This isn't about judgment. It's about awareness. Once you see the flow of money, you'll be ready to redirect it. Because here's the secret. Money is like water. It flows wherever you point it. If you don't give it direction, it floods into lifestyle expenses, impulse buys, and things you don't even remember a week later. But if you build channels, automatic transfers, auto payments, investments, it flows into your future. In the next chapters, I'll show you exactly how to build those channels step by step. But for now, your first move is simple. Stop pretending willpower will save you. It won't. Only a system will. Final thought. Breaking free from the money trap isn't about earning more, budgeting harder, or feeling guilty about every dollar you spend. It's about realizing the old way doesn't work and choosing a new way that does. Automation is the bridge from where you are to where you want to be. It's the quiet, behind-the-scenes force that transforms ordinary people into financially free people. So here's the challenge. Commit right now to building your system. Not someday. Not when things calm down. Today. Because the sooner you start, the sooner you escape the trap. And trust me, the view outside that trap is worth everything. Chapter 3. The Latte Lie and the Power of Small Choices. You've probably heard it before. Stop buying that daily coffee and you'll be rich. It's a phrase thrown around so often that it has its own nickname, the latte factor. At first glance, it sounds almost silly. How could skipping a coffee, a bagel, or a small daily indulgence possibly make you wealthy? One little purchase couldn't matter that much, could it? But here's the truth. Small choices add up in massive ways. They are the difference between a future filled with freedom and one filled with financial stress. The latte isn't the problem, it's what the latte represents. The hidden cost of everyday spending. Let's break this down with a simple example. Imagine you spend $5 a day on coffee. That's $150 a month, or $2,800 a year. Over 10 years, that's $18,000. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Because if you invested that same money, earning just 7% annually, it could grow to more than $25,000 in a decade. Stretch that out to 30 years, and it could be worth over $180,000. That's the power of small choices. What looks like a harmless daily treat could actually be your retirement fund, your dream vacation, or your child's education. Pause and ask yourself, what's my latte? Maybe it's not coffee. Maybe it's streaming subscriptions you barely use. Maybe it's eating out 4 times a week. Maybe it's gadgets that end up in a drawer. We all have a latte, a small repeat expense that quietly drains our wealth. Why we ignore small leaks. Here's the thing. Big expenses get our attention. We think long and hard about buying a car, moving to a new apartment, or upgrading our phone. But the small, daily habits? Those fly under the radar. Psychologists call this mental accounting. We mentally separate big money and little money. We treat $5 as nothing, while $5,000 is a big deal. But guess what? $5 every day eventually becomes $5,000. The danger isn't in the one coffee, it's in the pattern. Because if you can spend without thinking once, you'll spend without thinking again. And over time, those little leaks sink the ship. The compound effect. We often talk about compounding when it comes to investing, but compounding works with habits too. Every decision you make either compounds in your favor or against you. Spend $5 a day on coffee, negative compounding. Invest $5 a day instead, positive compounding. The principle is the same. Consistent small actions, repeated over time, create massive results. This is why the wealthy focus on habits, not just big wins. They know it's the daily actions that shape the long-term outcome. It's not about deprivation. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying you can never buy coffee again. This is not about guilt. This is not about living a life of deprivation where every purchase feels like a crime. That's no way to live. What I am saying is this. When you become conscious of your small choices, you take back control. You start making intentional decisions instead of automatic ones. If that coffee truly brings you joy, enjoy it. But make sure it's a choice, not a mindless habit. And if you realize it's just a routine you don't even care about, redirect that money into your future. Finding your hidden money. Here's a simple exercise. For the next week, track every dollar you spend. Not in a complicated budget spreadsheet, just jot it down in your notes app or on paper. At the end of the week, look at your list and ask yourself, which of these purchases brought me real value? Which were just mindless habits? Most people are shocked by what they find. That $10 lunch you barely enjoyed, the streaming service you forgot to cancel, the late-night online order you didn't really need. Those are your lattes, and when you spot them, you'll see opportunity everywhere. Imagine cutting just $10 a day in unconscious spending. That's $300 a month, $3,600 a year. Over 30 years invested wisely, that could grow into more than $500,000. $500,000! Just from eliminating spending you don't even miss. Reframe the latte. Here's a mindset shift that changes everything. Instead of seeing $5 as $5, start seeing it as future wealth. Ask yourself, is this coffee worth $50,000 to me? Because that's what it really costs when you factor in compounding. This doesn't mean you'll stop enjoying life. It means you'll start valuing your future as much as your present. And that's how wealth is built. Not through giant windfalls, but through everyday awareness. The joy of redirecting money. Here's the part nobody tells you. Once you start redirecting those small expenses, It feels amazing. Watching your savings grow, seeing your investments climb, knowing you're building freedom, it's addictive in the best way. One of my clients once told me, canceling that $100 subscription felt like giving myself a raise. And she was right, because every dollar you stop wasting is a dollar you're paying your future self. Pause and ask yourself, what's one small expense I could redirect this week? Not because I have to, but because I want to. It might be packing lunch twice a week instead of eating out. It might be skipping that impulse online buy. Whatever it is, try it. And instead of just pocketing the savings, automate it into your wealth system. That way, you don't even have to think about it. The bigger picture. The latte factor isn't really about coffee. It's about awareness. It's about realizing that money doesn't slip away in big chunks. It disappears in small drips. And when you plug those leaks, you gain the power to redirect your money into things that truly matter. That's the foundation of financial freedom. Not giving up everything, but choosing wisely, consistently. Final thought. The difference between those who build wealth and those who struggle isn't giant paychecks or lucky breaks. It's daily decisions, the small choices, the habits that either build your future or bury it. The latte is just a symbol. Your job is to figure out what your latte is and decide if it's worth the price tag of your dreams. Because here's the truth. Wealth doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you stop letting unconscious habits control your money and start letting intentional choices build your freedom. So, starting today, notice the little things. Track them, question them, redirect them. And remember, every small choice you make is either moving you closer to automatic wealth or keeping you stuck in the trap. The power is in your hands. And the change starts now. Chapter 4. Pay yourself first, automatically. If I could give you just one rule for building wealth, a rule so powerful that it has transformed ordinary workers into millionaires, it would be this: pay yourself first. You've heard the phrase before, but let me explain it in a way that will change how you think forever. Paying yourself first doesn't mean buying yourself a new gadget or splurging on a shopping spree because you deserve it. No, it means this. The very first bill you pay every month should be to your future self. That's right before you pay rent, before you pay utilities, before you even buy groceries. You take a portion of your income and set it aside for you. For your freedom, for your security, for the life you want to live. Because if you don't, guess what happens? Everyone else gets paid first. Your landlord gets paid, the electric company gets paid, the grocery store gets paid, and by the time you finally think about yourself, there's nothing left. And that's exactly why most people never build wealth. Why save what's left doesn't work. For decades, financial advice has followed a broken formula. Earn money, pay your bills, and if there's anything left, save it. But let's be honest. When is there ever something left? Life has a funny way of expanding to fill your paycheck. The more you earn, the more you spend. And at the end of the month, the leftovers are scraps. Here's the harsh truth. Saving what's left never works because there's rarely anything left. That's why the wealthy don't wait to see what's left. They make saving the first priority. The automatic shift. Now, here's where the magic happens. You could decide right now to start paying yourself first. But if you rely on willpower to transfer the money every month, chances are you'll forget or skip it when things feel tight. That's why you must automate it. Automation makes pay yourself first foolproof. The money is whisked away before you even see it, before you have the chance to spend it. Out of sight, out of temptation. Think about your paycheck. If you're like most people, you get it deposited into your checking account, and then you pay bills, swipe cards, and hope something remains. But what if instead, the moment your paycheck hits, a set percentage automatically goes into a savings account or investment account? You never touch it, never see it, never feel like you're missing it. That's what pay yourself first automatically really means. How much should you pay yourself first? Here's a simple starting point. Aim for 10% of your income. If you earn $3,000 a month, that's $300. If you earn $5,000, that's $500. Now, maybe you're thinking, that's impossible. I can barely cover my bills as it is. And I get it. But let me challenge you. Start smaller if you must. 5%, 2%, even 1%. The amount doesn't matter nearly as much as the habit, because once the system is set up, you'll adapt. Human beings are remarkably good at adjusting to what's available. If you've ever had a pay cut, you figured it out. If you've ever had an unexpected expense, you managed. The same thing will happen when you pay yourself first. You'll make it work. Pause and ask yourself, and ask. If I started paying myself first today, even just $50 a month, how would my future look different? The psychology of paying yourself first. Something powerful happens when you flip the script and start putting yourself at the top of the financial line. You feel in control. You feel like you matter. Instead of constantly playing catch-up, you finally feel ahead. And let's be real. Doesn't your future self deserve to be a priority? Think about all the effort you put into your job, your family, your responsibilities. Isn't it time you invested some of that energy into you? Why automatic beats discipline? Let me share a secret. Wealthy people aren't more disciplined than you. They're not superheroes of self-control. They just set up systems that don't rely on discipline at all. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't have to remember a dozen steps every morning, it's just a habit, baked into your routine. Paying yourself first should be the same. Set it, forget it, let the system run. Over time, you'll look back and be stunned by how much you've saved without even trying. A story of two friends. Let me tell you about Sarah and John. Both earned $50,000 a year. Sarah decided to automate 10% of her paycheck into a retirement account. John always said, "I'll save when I can." 10 years later, Sarah had more than $75,000 saved and invested, without lifting a finger. John had nothing. Not because he didn't care, but because life always seemed to get in the way. The difference wasn't income. It wasn't intelligence. It was automation. Which one do you want to be? Your next step. Here's your assignment. By the end of this week, set up an automatic transfer from your checking account into a separate savings or investment account, even if it's just $25. The point isn't the amount, it's the act. Because once you set it up, you've just joined a small group of people who are guaranteed to build wealth, not maybe, not someday, not guaranteed. And I'll tell you a secret. Once you see that money grow, you'll want to increase it. You'll feel the momentum. And before long, 10% won't seem impossible. It'll seem natural. The ripple effect. When you pay yourself first, everything else shifts. Your spending habits adjust. Your priorities align. Your future stops being a vague hope and starts becoming a reality. And here's the beautiful part. You can still live well today. Because when you know your future is secure, you can enjoy the present guilt-free. Final thought. Paying yourself first isn't about money. It's about self-respect. It's about declaring, my future matters. My dreams matter. I matter. And when you combine this principle with automation, you remove every excuse. You don't have to remember. You don't have to fight temptation. You don't have to wonder if you're doing enough. The system takes care of it. So here's your challenge. Set it up this week. Automate your wealth. Make your future self the first bill you pay. Because once you do, you'll never look at money the same way again. And if you're listening on YouTube right now, take a second to share in the comments. What's one small step you can take to pay yourself first this week? And while you're there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. Your future self will thank you. Chapter 5. The Automatic Wealth Machine. By now you've heard me say it over and over. The secret to building lasting wealth isn't about working harder, stressing more, or obsessing over every dollar. It's about creating a system, a machine, one that runs quietly in the background, building your financial future without constant effort from you. I call this the automatic wealth machine, and when you set it up, It's like turning on a money engine that keeps running, even while you sleep. Why you need a machine, not a budget. Let's be honest. Traditional budgeting doesn't work for most people. Budgets feel restrictive, like financial diets. You write down numbers, you make promises, and 2 weeks later, you've blown through it because life got in the way. It's not that you're bad with money, it's that budgets rely on constant willpower. And we already know willpower is unreliable. That's why the wealthy don't obsess over every dollar. Instead, they automate. They build systems that direct money where it needs to go automatically towards saving, investing, paying down debt, and even giving. No stress, no guilt, no constant decision-making. Pause and ask yourself, how would it feel if my money was already being managed while I went about my day without me lifting a finger? That's the freedom of having a machine. The 4 parts of your wealth machine. Think of your finances like a factory with 4 conveyor belts. Every time you get paid, money comes in at the start, and the machine sends it down the belts automatically. Here are the 4 belts: savings and emergency fund. A portion of your paycheck flows into a high-yield savings account, building your financial safety net. Investments. Another portion flows into your retirement accounts or investment accounts, where it compounds over time. Debt payoff. If you carry debt, part of your system is designed to chip away at it steadily, freeing you from chains. Living in enjoyment. Whatever remains is yours to spend guilt-free, because the important stuff is already taken care of. Notice what's missing? Stress, guilt, worry. Because when you set this up once, your wealth machine runs every single payday, no matter what. The flow of money. Here's how it looks in action. Let's say your paycheck is deposited directly into your checking account. From there, within 24 hours, automatic transfers move money into your other accounts. 10% goes straight into your savings account. Another 10% goes into your retirement plan or investment account. If you have debt, 5% automatically goes toward extra payments. The rest stays in checking for bills, groceries, and fun. No decisions, no temptations, no maybe next month. It just happens. This is how average people become wealthy over time. Not by luck, not by lottery, but by building a system that makes wealth inevitable. The power of pre-commitment. There's a fascinating psychology behind this. When you automate your money, you're practicing something called pre-commitment. You're making a smart decision today that locks in your future success, so tomorrow you don't have to rely on willpower. Think about it. If you had to manually move money into savings every month, how often would you forget? But when the system does it for you, you've eliminated the chance of failure. It's like putting your financial future on autopilot, and autopilot always stays on course. Overcoming the "I'll do it later" trap. Here's the biggest danger to your wealth: procrastination. Most people know they should save, invest, and pay off debt. They plan to get to it later. But later rarely comes. The beauty of the wealth machine is that you don't wait for later. You set it up once, and later takes care of itself. The earlier you set it up, the more powerful it becomes. Because time is the secret ingredient in wealth. Pause and ask yourself, what's one part of my financial life I could automate this week? Just one. Maybe it's setting up an automatic transfer to savings. Maybe it's enrolling in your employer's retirement plan. Maybe it's auto pay on your debt. Whatever it is, do it now, not later. Why this works, even if you're not perfect. Here's something I want you to hear loud and clear. You don't have to be perfect for this to work. You don't have to set aside massive amounts of money right away. Even small amounts, automated consistently, create huge results over time. For example, $100 a month invested at 7% grows to almost $20,000 in 30 years. In 30 pesos, double that to $200 a month, and you've got nearly $250,000. That's life-changing money, and it all comes from starting small and automating. The key isn't the amount. The key is the habit. Once your machine is running, it doesn't matter if you adjust the levers up or down. The important thing is that the machine never stops. Living guilt-free. One of the most liberating parts of the automatic wealth machine is that it lets you enjoy life without guilt. How many times have you bought something fun, a dinner out, a pair of shoes, a new gadget, and immediately felt guilty because you should have saved that money? But when your machine is already saving and investing for you, you don't have to feel guilty. You can enjoy spending what's left because the important stuff is handled. This is the opposite of deprivation. It's freedom. Your homework. By the end of this week, I want you to sketch out your own wealth machine. Take a piece of paper and draw 4 boxes: savings, investments, debt payoff, and living. Then, write down what percentage of your income you'd ideally like to send to each box. Next, set up at least one automatic transfer. Start small if you have to, but take action today. Because until the machine is built, you'll always be relying on willpower, and we both know where that leads. Final thought. The automatic wealth machine is the great equalizer. You don't need to be a financial genius. You don't need to make 6 figures. You don't even need to love math. You just need to decide that your future is worth protecting, and then set up a system that makes it happen. Once it's running, you'll no longer wonder if you're on track. You'll know, because your machine will be quietly, faithfully building your wealth in the background. So here's my challenge to you. Build your machine this week. Turn it on, and then let it run for the rest of your life. And if you're listening on YouTube, let me know in the comments. What's one step you'll take today to start building your automatic wealth machine? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because the journey to wealth is just beginning. Chapter 6. Building your wealth buckets. Imagine for a moment that every dollar you earn is like a drop of water. If you just pour it into one big bucket, your checking account, it all mixes together. Bills, savings, investments, spending money. It's one big messy puddle. And what happens when everything is in one bucket? It drains fast, and you're never quite sure where it all went. But what if instead, you divided your money into clear, separate buckets, each one with a specific purpose? Suddenly, the water flows where you want it. Nothing gets wasted, and most importantly, you feel in control. This is the power of wealth buckets, a simple system that makes your automatic wealth machine even more effective. Why buckets work. Here's a secret. Your brain loves clarity. When everything is jumbled together, it feels overwhelming. But when you divide money into categories, your brain relaxes. You know what each dollar is for, and you stop making emotional decisions. Think of buckets as money with a job. One bucket says, "I'm here to cover your rent." Another says, "I'm here to grow your retirement." Another says, "I'm here to let you enjoy life without guilt." When every dollar has a job, you stop wasting money and you start building wealth. Pause and ask yourself, right now, do my dollars have jobs? Or are they just floating around waiting to disappear? The 4 essential buckets. Let's start simple. You don't need 20 different accounts. You just need 4 basic buckets to create balance and peace of mind. Security bucket, savings and emergency fund. This is your safety net. Life will throw curveballs, car repairs, medical bills, job changes. This bucket ensures you're ready. A good target is 3 to 6 months of expenses. Growth bucket, investments. This is your future wealth. Money in this bucket isn't for today. It's for 5, 10, 30 years from now. It's where you put retirement contributions, stock market investments, or index funds. This is the engine of long-term freedom. Freedom bucket, spending and enjoyment. This is the fun money. Yes, you need one, because what's the point of building wealth if you can't enjoy life along the way? Vacations, dining out, hobbies. This bucket makes sure you can live richly today while still securing tomorrow. Giving bucket, generosity and impact money isn't just about you. It's also about making a difference. Whether it's helping family, supporting causes, or donating to charity, this bucket ensures generosity becomes part of your system, not just an afterthought. With these 4 buckets, you cover every aspect of life: security, growth, joy, and purpose. How to set up your buckets. Here's the key. Don't just think about your buckets, create them. Open separate accounts. Label them clearly. Automate transfers into each one. For example, every paycheck could flow like this: 10% to your security bucket, 10% to your growth bucket, 70% to your freedom bucket for bills and lifestyle, 10% to your giving bucket. Those numbers aren't fixed. You can adjust them. But the principle stays the same. Divide your money intentionally. Why the freedom bucket matters. Some people try to skip the freedom bucket, thinking they should save everything and live on as little as possible. But that's a mistake. If you don't leave room for fun, you'll eventually rebel. You'll get frustrated, overspend, and sabotage your plan. The freedom bucket solves this by giving you permission to spend without guilt. Imagine buying something you love, and instead of worrying, you think, "This is exactly what this money is for." That's freedom. The power of the giving bucket. I know some people hesitate with this one. They think, "I can't afford to give right now. I'll start when I'm wealthy." But generosity isn't about waiting until someday. It's about building the habit now, even if it's small. When you give, you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. You remind yourself that money is a tool, not a master. And here's the surprising part. People who give consistently often find that money flows back to them in unexpected ways. Not because of magic, but because generosity builds confidence, connections, and perspective. Pause and ask yourself, if I created a giving bucket today, what's one cause, person, or need I'd be excited to support? Buckets create balance. The beauty of this system is balance. Without buckets, people either spend too much today and ignore the future, or they obsessively save and forget to live. Buckets solve both problems. Your security and growth buckets protect your future. Your freedom and giving buckets let you enjoy the present. Together, they create a financial life that's sustainable, joyful, and meaningful. Your first step. Don't overthink it. Start small. This week, open at least one new account, your security bucket. Automate a tiny transfer, even just $25 per paycheck. Watch it grow. Feel the confidence that comes from knowing you've created a safety net. Then, as you go, add your other buckets. The point isn't perfection, it's progress. A quick story. I once met a couple, Maria and James, who always fought about money. Maria wanted to save aggressively, while James wanted to enjoy life. They felt like opposites, always pulling in different directions. When they set up the bucket system, something amazing happened. Maria felt safe because the security and growth buckets were funded automatically. James felt free because the freedom bucket gave them money to spend without guilt. And together, they felt proud because their giving bucket let them support causes they cared about. Their fights disappeared. Their stress evaporated. And for the first time, money became a tool that united them instead of dividing them. That's the power of buckets. Final thought. Money without clarity is chaos. Money with clarity is freedom. Buckets give you that clarity. They tell your money where to go, so you don't have to wonder where it went. So here's your challenge. Start building your wealth buckets this week. Divide your money intentionally. Automate the flow. And experience the peace that comes from knowing every dollar has a purpose. And if you're listening on YouTube, share in the comments. Which bucket would you be most excited to create? Security, growth, freedom, or giving? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more chapters on building your automatic wealth machine. Because when your buckets are full, your life overflows. Chapter 7. Debt-free for life. Debt. Just hearing the word can make your stomach tighten. For many people, debt is like a shadow that follows them everywhere. It's heavy, it's constant, and it drains energy from your life. But let me tell you something that might surprise you. You don't have to live with debt forever. You can be debt-free completely, permanently, and faster than you think. And when that day comes, the freedom you feel is indescribable. Imagine opening your mail and not dreading bills. Imagine checking your accounts and seeing only positive numbers. Imagine living without the constant weight of interest stealing your hard-earned money. That's not a fantasy. It's a reality you can create. The hidden cost of debt. Debt is more than just numbers on a page. It's a thief. It steals your money, your peace of mind, and your future. Think about it. Every time you make a payment on a credit card or a loan, a big chunk isn't going toward what you bought. It's going straight into the lender's pocket as interest. That's money you could have saved, invested, or used for freedom. Here's a fact that should make you sit up straight. If you owe $10,000 on a credit card with an 18% interest rate, and you only pay the minimum each month, do you know how long it would take to pay it off? Over 20 years? And by the end, you'd have paid more than double in interest. That's why debt is a trap. It keeps you working for banks instead of building wealth for yourself. Pause and ask yourself, right now, how much of my monthly income is going to lenders instead of me? Why people stay stuck. If debt is so painful, why do so many people stay trapped in it? It's not because they're lazy or careless. It's because they don't have a plan. Most people make the minimum payments, hoping things will eventually get better. But minimum payments are designed to keep you in debt as long as possible. Without a plan, you're stuck in quicksand working hard, but never moving forward. The good news? A plan changes everything. The two proven strategies. There are two powerful methods for paying off debt, and I want you to pick the one that feels right for you. The avalanche method. This strategy says, list your debts by interest rate, highest to lowest. Pay the minimum on all except the one with the highest interest. Throw every extra dollar at that one until it's gone, then move to the next. Why it works? You save the most money on interest and get out of debt faster overall. The snowball method. This strategy says, list your debts by balance, smallest to largest. Pay the minimum on all except the smallest, and attack that one first. Once it's gone, roll the payment into the next one, and so on. Why it works? You get quick wins. The momentum builds your confidence and keeps you motivated. Both methods work. The best method is the one you'll stick with. Automating your debt freedom. Remember, willpower isn't the solution, automation is. Set up automatic payments for at least the minimums so you'll never miss. Then, add an automatic transfer for your extra payment to your target debt. This way, you're not constantly deciding. You're not debating whether you can afford to pay extra this month. The system decides for you, and the system always wins. Don't stop saving while paying debt. Here's a mistake people make. They put every last dollar into debt and stop saving completely. On paper, this looks smart, but in real life, it backfires. Because life will still throw emergencies your way. And if you don't have savings, guess what happens? You use credit cards again, and the cycle continues. That's why you must build your security bucket while paying off debt. Even if it's just a little, it gives you breathing room and keeps you from sliding backward. The emotional side of debt. Debt isn't just financial, it's emotional. It brings shame, stress, and even conflict in relationships. But here's what I want you to know. Debt does not define you. You are not your credit score. You are not your student loans. You are not your car payment. Debt is something you have, not who you are. And you can get rid of it. I've seen people crawl out of 6 figures of debt. I've seen couples go from fighting daily about money to celebrating their debt-free life together. And I've seen ordinary people, just like you, find hope again once they created a plan. The freedom moment picture. This. You make your last debt payment. You call the lender, or you see the balance online, and it says $0. No more chains, no more interest, just freedom. People who've been there describe it as one of the best days of their lives. Some throw a party, some scream, some cry tears of relief. That moment is waiting for you. Pause and ask yourself, what would it feel like to never owe another dollar to anyone again? Your next step. Here's your homework. Write down every debt you have. Every credit card, every loan, every balance. Don't hide from it. Face it. Next, choose your strategy avalanche or snowball. Then set up automatic payments to make sure you're moving forward every single month. Start small if you need to. Even $20 extra a month makes a difference. The point is momentum. Once you see progress, you'll want to keep going. Final thought. Debt is not a life sentence. It's a problem with a solution. And when you combine strategy with automation, you guarantee your success. Becoming debt-free isn't just about money, it's about reclaiming your life. It's about walking lighter, sleeping better, and living without the constant weight of financial chains. So don't wait. Start today. Build your plan, set it on autopilot, and move confidently toward a future where every dollar you earn works for you, not for the bank. And if you're listening on YouTube, I'd love for you to share in the comments. What's the first debt you want to eliminate? Writing it down makes it real. And your journey might inspire someone else to take that first step too. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join me in the next chapter. Because once we free you from debt, we'll unlock the next level of your automatic wealth journey. Chapter 8. The Power of Pre-Commitment. Imagine standing in front of two doors. Behind one door is your ideal future: wealth, freedom, security, and peace of mind. Behind the other door is the same old cycle of stress, debt, and uncertainty. Now here's the twist. You don't get to choose in the future. You have to decide right now which door will open. That's what pre-commitment is all about. Pre-commitment means locking in your future success today, before temptation, emotions, or forgetfulness get in the way. It's one of the most powerful wealth-building tools you'll ever use. Why future? You can't always be trusted. Here's the truth. You and I both have two selves, the present self and the future self. Present. You loves comfort, convenience, and instant gratification. Future. You wants health, wealth, and security. But guess who usually wins? Present you. That's why people sign up for gym memberships in January and stop going in February. It's why diets start on Monday and end by Wednesday. And it's why so many people plan to save or invest later and never do. Future. You has great intentions. Present. You has the power. So how do you make sure future you actually wins? You pre-commit. Pre-commitment in action. Here's how this works with money. Instead of saying, I'll try to save next month, you set up an automatic transfer today. Instead of thinking, I'll invest when I have extra, you enroll in your retirement plan now. You remove choice from the equation. You decide once, and then the system decides for you forever. Think about it. If your paycheck automatically invests 10% before you even see it, present, you can't spend it. Future you is protected because the decision was already made. That's pre-commitment, using today's clarity to override tomorrow's weakness. The psychology of locking it. Researchers have studied this concept for years. One famous study offered people the option to sign up for automatic retirement contributions that would increase every time they got a raise. Those who enrolled saved far more than those who planned to decide later. Why? Because when you decide in advance before the temptation shows up, you protect yourself from your weaker moments. It's like deciding at the grocery store to only buy healthy food. Once you're home, present. You can't eat what isn't there. Pause and ask yourself, what's one financial decision I could lock in today that would protect my future self? Pre-commitment and debt. Pre-commitment isn't just for saving and investing. It also works for debt. For example, setting up an automatic extra payment on your credit card locks in progress. You don't have to decide each month. You don't have to argue with yourself about whether you can afford it. The choice is already made. Without pre-commitment, you'll always be tempted to spend that money elsewhere. With it, your debt shrinks automatically. Pre-commitment and lifestyle. Here's another area: lifestyle. Ever noticed how easy it is to upgrade your lifestyle without realizing it? A raise comes, and suddenly your spending rises too. That's lifestyle creep, and it's deadly for wealth. But what if you pre-committed that every raise would be split half into your investments, half into your lifestyle? Suddenly, you grow your wealth while still enjoying life. Future. You wins. Present you wins. Everyone wins. Why pre-commitment creates peace. Here's the beautiful part. Once you lock in these decisions, your stress fades. You don't wake up every month worrying if you'll save enough or if you'll stay on track. You know you will, because the system is already running. Pre-commitment replaces anxiety with certainty, and certainty is priceless. A quick story. I once worked with a man named David. Every year he promised himself he'd finally max out his retirement contributions. And every year life got in the way. A vacation, a new car, unexpected bills. Then one day he signed up for his employer's auto increase plan. Every January his contribution rose by 1%. He didn't have to think about it, didn't have to decide, didn't even feel it. 10 years later, David was shocked to see how much he'd built. His friends wondered how he had so much saved. The answer was simple. Pre-commitment. How to pre-commit in your life. Let's get practical. Here are 3 ways you can use pre-commitment starting this week. Automate savings. Set up a transfer that moves money from checking to savings every payday. Even if it's small, lock it in. Enroll in retirement contributions. If your employer offers a retirement plan, sign up now. Even if it's just 3%, start today. Create automatic debt payments. Add an extra $20, $50, or $100 to your monthly debt payment and make it automatic. The point isn't perfection, it's progress. Once you lock it in, your wealth grows without you having to remember. Pause and ask yourself, what's one financial habit I want to pre-commit to right now? Your homework. By the end of today, take one step of pre-commitment. Automate one thing. It could be savings, investing, or debt payoff. Do it while you're motivated, because later the excuses will come. Remember, future you is counting on present you. Final thought. The difference between those who build wealth and those who don't often comes down to this. The wealthy don't wait to feel motivated. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They lock in their success ahead of time. Pre-commitment is your superpower. It protects you from temptation, distraction, and procrastination. It ensures your future gets paid no matter what. So don't just hope for a better tomorrow. Lock it in today. Build your wealth machine with pre-commitment and let it carry you to the life you deserve. And if you're listening on YouTube, share in the comments. What's one pre-commitment you're ready to make for your financial future? And while you're here, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because we've got even more powerful strategies ahead. Chapter 9. The Secret to Investing Without Fear. When most people hear the word investing, they freeze. Their heart rate goes up, their mind floods with confusion, and fear creeps in. What if I lose it all? What if I pick the wrong stock? What if the market crashes right after I start? Sound familiar? Here's the truth. Fear keeps more people from building wealth than poverty ever has. And sadly, those fears mean millions of hardworking people never take the first step toward investing. They leave their money sitting in savings accounts, earning pennies, while inflation quietly eats away at it. But here's the good news. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to study Wall Street reports or guess which company will be the next Apple or Amazon. In fact, the secret to investing without fear is simpler than you think. Why we fear investing. Before we uncover the secret, let's understand why fear grips us so tightly. Money is emotional. We don't just see numbers, we see security, opportunity, even identity. When you risk money, it feels like you're risking your safety. And because investing always comes with ups and downs, fear convinces us to stay out of the game altogether. On top of that, the financial industry often makes investing sound complicated. They throw around jargon, charts, and acronyms that make you feel like you're not smart enough to do it on your own. And when you feel confused, you hesitate. But wealth isn't built by hesitation. It's built by simple, consistent action. Pause and ask yourself, what's the real reason I've been hesitant to invest? Is it knowledge, fear, or just not knowing where to start? The simple truth. Here it is. You don't need to be a financial genius to invest successfully. The most powerful investment strategies are simple. Ordinary people, using straightforward methods, have built extraordinary wealth. The secret isn't chasing the hottest stock. It isn't timing the market. It isn't even outsmarting anyone. The secret is consistency. Consistently putting money into investments, month after month, year after year, no matter what the headlines say. Because markets go up and down. That's normal. But over the long run, they have always gone up. Always. Think long-term. Here's something that will change your perspective. Since the beginning of the modern stock market, it has delivered an average annual return of about 7 to 10%. That includes wars, recessions, pandemics, crashes, you name it. If you had invested $100 a month starting 30 years ago, you'd likely have over $120,000 today. If you'd done $500 a month, you'd have more than $500,000. Not because you were lucky, not because you were brilliant, but because you stayed consistent. That's the secret to investing without fear. Think long-term and let time and compounding do the heavy lifting. Index funds, the everyday investor's superpower. Let me introduce you to the simplest, safest tool for most people, index funds. An index fund is like a basket of hundreds or even thousands of companies. Instead of betting on one company, you're buying a little piece of all of them. When the market grows, your basket grows. Warren Buffett, one of the richest investors alive, has said again and again that most people should simply invest in index funds. Why? Because they're low-cost, diversified, and nearly impossible to mess up. You don't have to guess which company will win. You own them all. The magic of dollar-cost averaging. Here's another principle that takes away fear. Dollar-cost averaging. This means investing the same amount at regular intervals, no matter what's happening in the market. If the market is up, your money buys fewer shares. If the market is down, your money buys more shares. Over time, this balances out and lowers your risk. It's like buying groceries every week. Sometimes apples are expensive, sometimes they're cheap, but if you keep buying them consistently, you average out the cost. That's dollar-cost averaging. And when paired with index funds, it's nearly unbeatable. Stop trying to time the market. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to time the market waiting for the perfect moment to buy or sell. Here's the reality. Nobody knows when the perfect moment is. Not even the experts. Studies have shown that even professional investors rarely beat the market consistently. So if you're waiting for the right time to start investing, you'll wait forever. The best time to invest was yesterday. The second best time is today. Automation removes fear. Now let's connect this back to our theme, automation. When you automate your investments, setting up a direct transfer into your retirement account or brokerage account, you remove fear from the process. You're not making emotional decisions each month. You're not second-guessing headlines. You're just investing, consistently, like clockwork. And over time, you'll look back and be amazed at how much wealth you've quietly built. Pause and ask yourself, what's stopping me from setting up automatic investments right now? Your first step. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to research for months or read a library of finance books. Start simple. Open an investment account or retirement account. Choose a low-cost index fund. Set up an automatic monthly contribution, even if it's just $50. That's it. You've just started investing without fear. A quick story. I once met a young woman named Lisa who was terrified of investing. She kept her money in savings, watching inflation eat it away. Finally, she took the leap. She automated $100 a month into an index fund. At first, she was nervous, but after a year, she saw her account grow. After 5 years, she had thousands saved. and her fear turned into excitement. Her only regret? Not starting sooner. Final thought. The secret to investing without fear isn't complicated. It's not about predicting the future. It's about committing to a simple system, automating it, and letting time do the rest. Don't let fear rob you of your future. Don't let confusion keep you on the sidelines. Start simple. Start small. Start today. Because the sooner you begin, the sooner your money starts working for you instead of sitting idle. And if you're listening on YouTube right now, drop a comment. What's your biggest fear about investing? Let's talk about it. And remember, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because in the next chapter, we'll dive into the mindset that separates millionaires from everyone else. Chapter 10. The Millionaire Mindset. Have you ever wondered why two people with the same income can end up in completely different places financially? One struggles paycheck to paycheck, while the other quietly builds wealth and freedom. It's not just about math. It's not just about opportunity. It's about mindset. The truth is, wealthy people don't just manage money differently, they think differently. And if you want to build automatic wealth, you must adopt what I call the millionaire mindset, because here's the secret. Before you can grow your bank account, you have to grow your perspective. The beliefs that hold people back. Most people grow up with limiting beliefs about money. Maybe you've heard some of these. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. I'll never be good with money. I just need to work harder, and someday it'll pay off. Sound familiar? These beliefs feel harmless, but they quietly shape your reality. If you believe wealth is evil, you'll never allow yourself to become wealthy. If you believe you're bad with money, you'll avoid learning the skills that could change your life. Pause and ask yourself, what hidden beliefs about money did I grow up with? Are they helping me or holding me back? How millionaires think differently. Here's the good news. You can reprogram your beliefs. You can choose to think like a millionaire, no matter where you're starting from. Here are a few mindset shifts that change everything. Scarcity versus abundance. Most people live in scarcity, always afraid there isn't enough. Millionaires live in abundance. They believe there are always opportunities to create, earn, and grow. Scarcity says, I can't afford it. Abundance says, how can I afford it? Spending versus investing. Most people see money as something to spend. Millionaires see money as a tool to invest. They understand that every dollar can either disappear today or multiply tomorrow. Excuses versus ownership. Most people blame circumstances for their financial struggles. Millionaires take ownership. Even when life throws challenges, they focus on what they can control. Short-term versus long-term. Most people chase instant gratification. Millionaires think in decades. They're willing to sacrifice a little today for massive rewards tomorrow. Money as a tool, not a master. Another key shift is seeing money as a tool, not a master. Too many people let money control their emotions. When they have it, they feel good. When they don't, they feel worthless. But millionaires see money as a resource like fuel for a car. It's not who you are. It's simply what you use to get where you want to go. This shift is powerful because it detaches your self-worth from your net worth. You are valuable whether your account has $100 or $100,000. Money is just a tool you're learning to master. The power of visualization. Here's something fascinating. Most self-made millionaires practice visualization. They spend time imagining their goals vividly, what it feels like to be debt-free, to own a home outright, to retire early, to live generously. Why does this work? Because your brain is wired to follow the pictures you feed it. When you visualize success, your mind starts working toward it, often in ways you don't even notice. Pause and ask yourself, can I picture the exact life I want my wealth to create? What does it look like? How does it feel? Spend a few moments today writing it down, sketching it out, or just closing your eyes and seeing it clearly. That's the first step to making it real. The role of gratitude. You might think millionaires are all about getting more, but here's another secret. Gratitude is at the core of lasting wealth. When you're grateful for what you already have, you stop making desperate decisions. You stop chasing money out of fear, and instead, you make wise choices from a place of confidence. Gratitude creates contentment, and contentment builds discipline. That's why some of the wealthiest people are also the most generous. They know money is abundant, and they're thankful for every bit of it. A quick story. I once worked with a woman named Clara. She wasn't rich, at least not yet. She earned an average salary, but she always complained, "I'll never get ahead. People like me just don't become wealthy." One day, we did a simple exercise. I asked her to write down 5 things she was grateful for financially. At first, she resisted, but soon she wrote, "I've never missed a rent payment. My kids are healthy. I have food in the fridge. I'm paying down debt. I have skills people pay me for." That shift unlocked something. She stopped seeing herself as powerless and started seeing herself as capable. Within a year, she had automated her savings, started investing, and paid off 2 credit cards. The millionaire mindset isn't about waiting until you're wealthy to think differently. It's about thinking differently now so you can become wealthy later. How to develop your millionaire mindset. Here are 3 steps you can take starting today. Reframe your beliefs. Every time you catch yourself saying something negative about money, flip it. Instead of, "I'll never be wealthy," say, "I'm learning to build wealth step by step." Focus on growth. Invest in yourself. Read, learn, and surround yourself with people who think abundantly. Growth-minded people make growth-oriented choices. Practice gratitude daily. Each night, write down 3 financial things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big, just consistent. Gratitude rewires your mindset over time. Your homework. Grab a journal or your phone and write down your top 3 money beliefs. Then ask yourself, are these beliefs moving me toward wealth or away from it? Replace any limiting belief with an empowering one. Repeat it daily until it becomes second nature. Final thought. The millionaire mindset is not reserved for the rich. It's available to anyone who decides to adopt it. It's about abundance, ownership, long-term vision, and gratitude. Because here's the truth. If you think like a millionaire before you become one, becoming one is only a matter of time. So choose today to change your thoughts. Choose today to embrace abundance. Choose today to take ownership of your financial future. And if you're listening on YouTube, share in the comments. What's one money belief you're ready to let go of and one you're ready to adopt? And while you're at it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more chapters, because the wealthiest life starts not in your wallet, but in your mind. Chapter 11. The Hidden Cost of Waiting. Let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever said, "I'll start saving when things calm down"? Or maybe, "I'll invest once I earn a little more"? If so, you're not alone. Almost everyone has said some version of that at one point. But here's the brutal truth. Waiting is the most expensive decision you'll ever make. The hidden cost of waiting is massive. It's invisible at first. You don't feel it. You don't see it. But over time, the price of procrastination grows into something enormous. Let's uncover it together. Why later never comes. Life is always busy. There's always another bill, another obligation, another reason why right now doesn't feel like the perfect time. But here's the secret. The perfect time never comes. If you're waiting for things to calm down, you'll be waiting forever. Because as soon as one problem disappears, another takes its place. Waiting is easy. It feels safe. But in reality, it's costing you the most valuable resource you'll ever have. Time. The magic ingredient. Time. Here's what makes time so powerful. Compounding. Compounding is when your money earns money, and then that money earns even more money. Over time, it snowballs into massive growth. But compounding only works if you give it enough time. Let me give you an example. Imagine 2 friends, Emily and Jack. Emily starts investing $200 a month at age 25 and stops at age 35. Just 10 years of investing. Jack waits. He doesn't start until age 35. But from then on, he invests $200 a month all the way until age 65. Who do you think ends up with more money at retirement? The answer will shock you. Emily does. Even though she invested for only 10 years, starting early gave her such a head start that compounding worked in her favor. By 65, she had more than Jack even though Jack invested 3 times as much. That's the hidden cost of waiting. Pause and ask yourself, if I keep waiting, what opportunities am I silently giving up? Inflation, the silent thief. Another hidden cost of waiting is inflation. Every year, the cost of living rises. Gas, groceries, housing, everything creeps upward. If your money is just sitting in a low-interest savings account, inflation quietly eats away at it. That $1,000 you're protecting today might only buy $800 worth of goods 10 years from now. So when you wait to save or invest, you're not just standing still, you're moving backward. The emotional cost. Waiting doesn't just hurt your bank account, it hurts your confidence. Every month you delay, guilt grows heavier. You know you should be doing something, but you're not. And that nagging voice in the back of your mind drains your energy. On the other hand, the moment you take action, no matter how small, you feel lighter, empowered, in control. That feeling is priceless. Why people wait? If waiting is so costly, why do so many people do it? There are 3 main reasons. Fear. What if I do it wrong? Perfectionism. I need to research more before I start. Excuses. I'll start when I earn more. But here's the truth. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to know everything. And you definitely don't need to wait for a raise. You just need to start. Start small. Start now. Most people think they need big money to begin building wealth. That's simply not true. You can start with $25 a month, $50, $100. The point isn't the amount. It's the habit. Once the system is in place, you can always increase it later. The longer you wait, the harder it gets to catch up. But the earlier you start, even with tiny amounts, the easier it becomes. Pause and ask yourself, what's the smallest step I could take today to get started? The regret of waiting. I've spoken with countless retirees, and do you know what nearly all of them say? I wish I had started earlier. Nobody says, I wish I had waited longer. Not one. Because once you see the power of compounding, once you feel the security of having money working for you, the only regret is that you didn't start sooner. Your first step. Here's your challenge. Stop waiting. Decide on one thing you've been putting off financially, whether it's opening a savings account, setting up automatic investments, or paying down debt. And do it this week. Don't aim for perfect. Aim for progress. Because even imperfect action beats waiting every single time. A quick story. I once met a man named Robert. He spent years saying, I'll invest once I pay off my mortgage. But life kept happening. By the time he was mortgage-free, he was 55. He finally started investing, but he had lost 3 decades of compounding. Even though he tried to catch up, he never reached the wealth he could have had. Robert didn't fail because he was lazy. He failed because he waited. And I don't want that for you. Final thought. The hidden cost of waiting is enormous, financially, emotionally, and mentally. Every month you delay, you lose money, confidence, and momentum. But the moment you start, even with the smallest step, you flip the script. You take back control. You give compounding the time it needs to work its magic. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for the raise, the promotion, or the calm season of life. Start today. Start small. Start now. And if you're listening on YouTube, I want you to drop a comment. What's one financial step you've been waiting on, and what action will you take today to finally begin? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and join me in the next chapter, because now that you've stopped waiting, it's time to build something powerful, your very own Freedom Fund. Chapter 12. The Freedom Fund. Imagine this. Your car breaks down tomorrow, or your washing machine stops working, Or you get an unexpected medical bill. Most people in that moment panic. They scramble for a credit card. They borrow money. They stress. But now imagine a different scenario. You face the same emergency, but instead of panic, you calmly write a check or transfer the money from a special account you set aside just for moments like this. No stress, no debt, no sleepless nights. That special account has a name, your Freedom Fund. Why you need a Freedom Fund. The Freedom Fund is your financial safety net. It's not about becoming rich, it's about protecting your peace of mind. Because life will throw curveballs. Emergencies don't ask for permission, they just show up. The difference between people who bounce back quickly and those who spiral into debt is whether or not they have a Freedom Fund. Pause and ask yourself, right now, if I faced a $1,000 emergency, how would I handle it? Would I be calm, or would I be scrambling? How much do you need? So how big should your Freedom Fund be? The general rule is to aim for 3 to 6 months of living expenses. If your monthly expenses are $3,000, that means your Freedom Fund goal is between $9,000 and $18,000. Now that might sound intimidating at first, but don't panic. You don't have to build it overnight. The key is to start small and build steadily. Even $25 a week adds up over time. The most important step is simply opening the account and beginning. Where to keep it? Your Freedom Fund should be separate from your checking account. If it's mixed in with your daily spending money, it's too tempting to dip into it for non-emergencies. A high-yield savings account is perfect. It keeps your money safe, earns a little interest, and is easy to access when you need it. The goal isn't huge returns, it's security. Think of it as insurance, not an investment. What counts as an emergency? This is where discipline matters. Your Freedom Fund is for true emergencies. Things like medical bills, job loss, urgent car repairs, or essential home repairs. It's not for vacations. It's not for shopping. It's not for concert tickets. If you dip into it for the wrong reasons, you're robbing your future peace of mind. A good rule of thumb: if the expense is necessary for your health, safety, or ability to earn income, it qualifies. Otherwise, it doesn't. The emotional power of a Freedom Fund. The money itself is valuable, but the peace of mind is priceless. When you know you have a cushion, you sleep better. You make smarter decisions. You stop living paycheck to paycheck because you know one emergency won't wreck your life. People who've built their Freedom Fund often say it's the single most empowering step they ever took financially. A quick story. I once worked with a couple, Jason and Mia. For years, they struggled with debt because every time something went wrong, a flat tire, a medical bill, they had no savings. They put everything on credit cards. Finally, they decided to build a Freedom Fund. At first, it was slow $50 here, $100 there. But after a year, they had $3,000 saved. The very next month, their water heater broke. Normally, that would have sent them into panic mode. But this time, they calmly paid the bill with their Freedom Fund. No stress, no new debt. Mia told me later, "That was the first time in our marriage we didn't fight about money during an emergency." That's the power of a Freedom Fund. Building it, step by step. Here's how to start. Set a starter goal. If 3 to 6 months feels overwhelming, begin with $1,000. That alone will cover most small emergencies. Automate savings. Set up an automatic transfer to your Freedom Fund every payday. Even $25 a week adds up to $1,300 a year. Use windfalls wisely. Tax refund? Bonus? Side hustle income? Funnel a portion straight into your Freedom Fund. Celebrate milestones. Each time you hit a new milestone, $500, $1,000, 1 month's expenses, celebrate your progress. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. The ripple effect. Once your Freedom Fund is built, something amazing happens. You stop relying on credit cards. You stop panicking over the unexpected, and you gain the confidence to take bigger financial steps like investing more aggressively or starting a business because you know you have a safety net. Your Freedom Fund doesn't just protect you from emergencies, it empowers you to chase opportunities. Your homework. By the end of this week, open a separate savings account labeled Freedom Fund. Automate at least one transfer, no matter how small. Pause and ask yourself, what's one small luxury I could skip this week and redirect into my Freedom Fund? It could be a meal out, a subscription you don't use, or an impulse buy. Redirect it, and you've taken your first step toward freedom. Final thought. The Freedom Fund may not sound glamorous. It won't make you rich overnight, but it will give you something far more valuable: security, peace of mind, and the confidence to face life's surprises without fear. It's your shield, your safety net, your foundation. So don't wait. Start today. Even the smallest step toward your Freedom Fund is a step toward financial freedom. And if you're listening on YouTube, drop a comment. How much would you like to have in your Freedom Fund, and what's your first step to building it? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join me in the next chapter, where we'll tackle one of the most important topics of all: how to build money harmony in relationships. Because wealth isn't just about you. It's about the people you share life with. Chapter 13. Money and Relationships. Money doesn't just impact your bank account. It impacts your relationships. In fact, studies show that money is one of the leading causes of stress in marriages and partnerships. It creates tension, arguments, and even breakups. But here's the truth. Money doesn't have to divide you. When handled with care, money can actually bring people closer. It can be a source of unity, trust, and shared purpose. This chapter is about building financial harmony in relationships, whether it's with a spouse, a partner, or even family members you support. Why money creates tension. Think about this. Money isn't just math, it's emotional. Every person grows up with different money beliefs, habits, and fears. When two people come together, those differences often clash. Maybe one person grew up hearing, "Save every penny," while the other grew up hearing, "You only live once, spend it while you can." Put those two in a relationship, and it's easy to see why sparks fly. Pause and ask yourself, what money beliefs did I grow up with? And how might they clash or align with the people I share money with today? Communication is everything. Here's the secret to money and relationships. It's not about agreeing on every dollar. It's about communicating openly, honestly, and without judgment. Too many couples avoid the money talk because it feels uncomfortable. But avoidance is like ignoring a leaky roof. It only gets worse. The first step to money harmony is sitting down together and saying, let's talk about where we are, where we want to go, and how we can get there together. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. The power of hours. One of the biggest mistakes couples make is keeping money completely separate. This is my account. That's your account. You pay these bills, I'll pay those bills. While there's nothing wrong with some independence, a relationship thrives when there's also a sense of ours. We're building a future together. We're saving together. We're investing together. When money is only yours and mine, it can feel like you're roommates. When it's also ours, it feels like you're a team. Building a shared vision. Here's a game changer. Instead of only talking about bills and budgets, talk about dreams. Ask each other, what does financial freedom look like to you? If money weren't an issue, how would we live? What experiences would we want to create together? When you shift the conversation from obligations to aspirations, money stops being a source of stress and starts being a tool to achieve shared dreams. A quick story. I once worked with a couple, Anthony and Grace. They fought constantly about money. Anthony wanted to save aggressively. Grace wanted to enjoy life now. I had them do an exercise. Each wrote down their top 3 money goals without showing the other. When they compared lists, something surprising happened. They had the same goals, just in different order. Anthony listed retirement first, vacations second. Grace listed vacations first, retirement second. When they realized they wanted the same things, they stopped fighting. They built a plan that funded both vacations in the short term and retirement in the long term. Suddenly, money became their ally instead of their enemy. The bucket system for couples. Remember the wealth buckets we talked about earlier? They work beautifully in relationships. Security bucket. Both partners know emergencies are covered. Growth bucket. Both contribute to building future wealth. Freedom bucket. Both agree on guilt-free spending money. Giving bucket. Both share the joy of generosity. The key is transparency. When both partners know money is flowing into each bucket automatically, trust grows. There's no gotcha moment of overspending or hidden bills. Handling differences. Of course, not every couple sees eye to eye. One may love spreadsheets while the other avoids numbers altogether. One may be a saver, the other a spender. That's okay. You don't need to be identical. You just need to respect each other's styles. The saver provides security. The spender provides joy. Together, you create balance. The danger comes when differences turn into judgment. Instead of saying, "You always waste money," try, "How can we find a system that works for both of us?" Money dates. Here's a practical tip. Schedule money dates. Once a month, sit down together for 30 minutes. Review your accounts, celebrate progress, and discuss any adjustments. Make it a positive, forward-looking conversation, not a blame session. Light some candles, pour a glass of wine, make it enjoyable. Because when money becomes a safe topic, it stops being a source of conflict. Supporting family without losing yourself. Sometimes the relationship tension isn't between you and your partner, it's between you and extended family. Maybe you're supporting parents, siblings, or children. This is where boundaries matter. Generosity is beautiful, but if it comes at the cost of your own financial security, it creates resentment. Set clear limits. Decide together how much you can give, and stick to it. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. The best way to support others long-term is to first build your own stability. Your homework. If you're in a relationship, schedule a money date this week. Start by asking each other one question. What's one financial goal you'd love for us to achieve together? If you're single, ask yourself, how can I prepare now to bring financial harmony into my future relationships? Final thought. Money doesn't have to divide you. In fact, when handled with openness, respect, and shared vision, it can strengthen your bond. The key isn't perfection. It's communication. It's teamwork. It's building systems together that take away stress and create confidence. Because when money is working for both of you, life feels lighter. Dreams feel closer. And your relationship becomes not just about surviving, but thriving. And if you're listening on YouTube, share in the comments. How do you and your partner or your family handle money conversations? Your story might inspire someone else to take that first brave step. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and join me in the next chapter, where we'll talk about something that transforms wealth into joy: the power of giving back automatically. Chapter 14. Giving back automatically. Let me tell you something powerful. Wealth is not just about what you keep. True wealth is also about what you give. You see, money has energy. When you hold on to it with fear, it creates stress and scarcity. But when you use money generously, you create abundance, not just for others, but for yourself. This is why giving isn't something to save for someday. It's something to build into your system now, automatically, just like saving and investing. Because generosity transforms money from being just about survival into being about meaning. Why giving matters. When you give, something amazing happens. You remind yourself that you already have enough. You shift from scarcity to abundance. Instead of obsessing over what you lack, you celebrate what you can share. And generosity isn't just about charity. It's about impact. It's about making the world a little better because you were here. Pause and ask yourself, if I could use money to make a difference in one area, what would it be? Who would it help? The myth of I'll give later. Too many people say, I'll give when I'm wealthy. But here's the truth. If you're not generous with $10, you won't magically become generous with $10,000. Generosity is a habit, not a dollar amount. The people who give freely with little often give the most when they have much. If you wait until you're ready, you'll wait forever. But if you start now, even small amounts can change lives, yours included. Making giving automatic. Here's the key. Don't leave giving up to chance. Build it into your wealth machine. Set up an automatic transfer into a giving bucket every month. It doesn't matter if it's $5, $50, or $500. What matters is consistency. Then, when opportunities arise, a cause you care about, someone in need, a charity you believe in, you already have money set aside. You don't have to wonder if you can afford it. You've already prepared. That's the power of automatic giving. It makes generosity easy and joyful. The emotional return on investment. Here's something money textbooks rarely talk about. The emotional ROI of giving. When you donate, support a cause, or help someone in need, you feel something you can't buy in any store. Joy, fulfillment, purpose. Research even shows that people who give regularly report higher happiness levels than those who don't. Why? Because giving connects us to something bigger than ourselves. It's wealth with meaning. A quick story. I once met a man named Daniel. He didn't earn a huge income, but every month, he gave $20 to a children's charity. To him, it didn't seem like much. One day, he received a letter from a child his donation had helped. The child wrote, "Thank you for making sure I had lunch at school." Daniel told me, "That $20 felt like the best investment I ever made." That's the power of giving. It turns ordinary dollars into extraordinary impact. Generosity and relationships. Here's another benefit. Giving strengthens relationships. When families give together, whether donating to a cause, volunteering, or supporting someone in need, it creates unity. Children raised in generous households grow up with a healthier view of money. Couples who give together often feel closer. Why? Because generosity reminds you that money isn't the end goal. It's the tool to live a life of purpose. Overcoming the fear of giving. Now, maybe you're thinking, but I can barely cover my bills. How can I afford to give? Here's the surprising truth. Generosity doesn't make you poorer. In fact, many people find that once they start giving, they feel richer. Not because they magically earn more, but because they stop living in fear. They realize that even in tight seasons, they have something to share. And when you believe you have enough, you start to attract more opportunities, more creativity, more resourcefulness. Generosity breaks the grip of scarcity. How much should you give? There's no universal rule. Some people give 10% of their income, a concept known as tithing. Others start smaller. What matters is that you choose a percentage or an amount that feels meaningful, and you do it consistently. Even 1% is better than nothing. Start there and increase as you grow. Your homework. This week, open a giving bucket. Automate at least a small amount into it every month. Then, decide where you want that money to go, whether it's a charity, a cause, or simply a fund to help friends and family when needs arise. Pause and ask yourself, what's one act of generosity I could do this month that would bring joy to me and someone else? The ripple effect. Generosity is contagious. When you give, you inspire others. Your act might spark someone else's generosity, creating a ripple that touches lives far beyond what you can see. That's the kind of legacy worth leaving. Final thought. Money without meaning is empty, but money with generosity becomes powerful. So don't wait until you're wealthy. Start now. Build giving into your automatic wealth system, and watch how it transforms not just your finances, but your heart, your relationships, and your sense of purpose. Because at the end of the day, true wealth isn't measured by how much you keep, It's measured by how much you give. And if you're listening on YouTube, share in the comments. What's one cause, person, or need you'd love to support if you had a giving bucket? Your answer might inspire someone else to start giving today. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next chapter, where we'll shift gears and talk about something equally powerful: how to live rich today, not someday. Because wealth is about enjoying the journey, not just the destination. Chapter 15. Living rich today, not someday. Have you ever caught yourself saying, "One day when I'm rich, then I'll enjoy life"? Maybe you picture yourself traveling the world, buying your dream home, or finally having the freedom to spend time with family. It's a beautiful vision, but here's the problem. Too many people spend their entire lives waiting for someday. They grind, they sacrifice, they put off joy, only to wake up years later realizing that someday never came. Wealth isn't just about tomorrow. True wealth is about living richly today while still building security for the future. Why people postpone happiness. Most of us were taught a version of the deferred life plan. Work hard now, sacrifice, save everything, and someday, maybe at retirement, you'll finally get to enjoy life. But what if you don't make it to someday? What if health, circumstances, or time itself changes the picture? The tragedy is that people often delay happiness for decades, only to discover they traded the best years of their lives for a promise that never arrives. Pause and ask yourself, am I postponing joy, waiting for a future that may never look the way I expect? The balance of now and later. Here's the good news. You don't have to choose between enjoying life now and building wealth for the future. You can do both, if you create balance. That's why your freedom bucket is so important. It gives you permission to spend guilt-free on the things that bring you joy today, while your automatic system takes care of saving and investing for tomorrow. This isn't about reckless spending. It's about intentional living. It's about making sure your money supports the life you want, both now and in the future. Redefining rich. Living rich doesn't always mean mansions, yachts, or luxury cars. For many, rich means simple things: taking a family vacation without credit card debt, treating yourself to a nice dinner and savoring it fully, buying books, courses, or experiences that expand your mind, having the freedom to say no to things that don't align with your values. Rich isn't about the size of your bank account. It's about the quality of your life. The joy of experiences over things. Research shows that experiences bring far more lasting happiness than material possessions. The excitement of a new gadget fades quickly, but the memory of a trip, a concert, or even a simple picnic with loved ones can bring joy for years. That's why part of living rich today is choosing experiences over endless consumption. Ask yourself, what memory could I create this month that would bring joy long after the money is gone? A quick story. I once worked with a man named David. He earned a solid income, but he never felt satisfied. He always said, "Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll take time off." But someday never came. He worked through vacations, skipped family events, and kept telling himself he'd enjoy life later. When he finally retired, health issues kept him from doing many of the things he had dreamed of. His regret was heartbreaking. "I worked my whole life waiting for someday. I should have lived more along the way." David's story is a reminder. Don't wait. Wealth is the ability to live fully now, not just later. The guilt-free way to enjoy today. Here's the beauty of having an automatic wealth system. Once your savings and investments are on autopilot, you can enjoy the rest without guilt. You can buy that dinner, take that trip, or splurge on something meaningful, because you know your future is already secure. This is the opposite of deprivation. It's the balance that creates freedom. Designing your rich life. Here's an exercise. Grab a notebook and write down what a rich life means to you. Not society's version, not your neighbor's, yours. Ask yourself, what brings me joy? What makes me feel alive? What small luxuries matter most to me? Maybe it's weekly date nights. Maybe it's fresh flowers in the kitchen. Maybe it's time off work to spend with your kids. Whatever it is, write it down and make room for it in your freedom bucket. Living rich isn't about everything. It's about the things that matter most. Avoiding the trap of more. Here's a danger to watch out for: chasing more. More money, more things, more status. If you're not careful, you'll always feel like you're behind, no matter how much you earn. The antidote is contentment. When you combine contentment with intentional spending, you unlock true freedom. You stop comparing. You stop chasing. You start living. Pause and ask yourself, what's one simple thing I already have that makes me feel rich today? Your homework. This week, plan one rich life experience that fits your budget. It could be a picnic in the park, a small weekend getaway, or even just taking a day off to relax. The point is to live richly now, not someday. At the same time, make sure your automatic system is running. Savings, investments, debt payoff, they're all happening in the background. That way, you can enjoy today without guilt. Final thought. Living rich today doesn't mean abandoning your future. It means creating a life where both present joy and future freedom exist together. Because what good is wealth if you never get to enjoy it? And what good is enjoyment if it destroys your future security? The magic happens when you do both. So stop waiting for someday. Start living richly today on purpose, with balance and with joy. And if you're listening on YouTube, I'd love for you to share in the comments. What's one way you're going to live a little richer this week? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more, because in the final chapter, we're going to tie it all together and paint the picture of what your millionaire future really looks like. Chapter 16. Your millionaire future. Take a moment and picture your life a few years from now. Your bills are paid automatically. Your savings and investments grow every month without you lifting a finger. You have a freedom fund that covers any surprise life throws your way. Debt is gone. Money is no longer a source of stress. It's a source of peace. That's not a fantasy. That's your millionaire future. And the best part? It doesn't require winning the lottery, starting a billion-dollar company, or even earning six figures. It only requires that you do what most people don't: set up a system, automate it, and stay consistent. The journey you've taken. Think about where we started in this book. Maybe you felt trapped, stressed, or unsure about your financial future. Maybe you were tired of working hard but never feeling ahead. Along the way, we uncovered the traps: living paycheck to paycheck, relying on willpower, waiting for someday. And step by step, you've learned how to escape them. You discovered the wake-up call that revealed the old system doesn't work. You learned the danger of the money trap and how automation sets you free. You saw the power of small choices, the latte factor, and how they shape your destiny. You built the habit of paying yourself first automatically. You designed your very own automatic wealth machine. You divided your money into clear buckets for security, growth, freedom, and giving. You created a plan to become debt-free for life. You learned the power of pre-commitment to lock in success. You discovered how to invest without fear, simply and consistently. You adopted the millionaire mindset of abundance, gratitude, and ownership. You understood the hidden cost of waiting and the urgency of starting now. You built your freedom fund for peace of mind. You learned how to create money harmony in relationships. You embraced giving back automatically as part of true wealth. And finally, you discovered how to live rich today, not someday. Each chapter wasn't just information, it was a building block. And together, they've created a system designed to carry you into a future of financial freedom. Pause and ask yourself, which step resonated with me the most? Which one am I most excited to implement right now? What your millionaire future looks like. Here's the truth. A millionaire future doesn't mean private jets and gold-plated everything. Unless that's your dream, of course. For most people, it looks like this: never stressing over bills, retiring on your terms, not someone else's, taking vacations and actually enjoying them without credit card guilt, helping your kids or grandkids without jeopardizing your own security, giving generously to causes you care about. Waking up every morning with peace, not panic. That's real wealth. That's a millionaire future worth chasing. The compound effect of your choices. Remember this. Every choice compounds. Every dollar you automate, every debt payment you make, every investment you set aside, it all builds on itself over time. Your millionaire future isn't built overnight. It's built choice by choice, day by day, until one morning you wake up and realize you're already living it. And because it's automatic, you won't feel like you worked harder. You'll feel like wealth just quietly grew while you lived your life. Staying on track. Now, let's be real. Life will still throw surprises. Markets will dip. Emergencies will happen. You may even stumble or forget along the way. But here's the difference. You now have a system that catches you. Your buckets protect you. Your freedom fund shields you. Your automation keeps you moving forward even when life feels messy. That's the secret of automatic wealth. It's built to last. Becoming an example. When you live this way, people around you will notice. They'll wonder why you're calm when others panic. They'll see you living fully without financial stress. And they'll ask, what's your secret? That's your chance to share, to inspire, to help others escape the traps and build systems of their own. Because wealth isn't just for you, it's for your family, your community, and everyone you influence along the way. A quick story. I once met a man named Robert, who had quietly built his wealth using automation. He wasn't flashy, he didn't drive a sports car. But when he retired, he shocked his friends and neighbors he had millions saved. They all asked him, "How did you do it?" His answer was simple. "I set it up once, and I let time do the rest." That's your path too. Not drama, not stress, just steady, consistent action. Your final homework. By now, you know the steps. You've seen the roadmap. Your final assignment is this. Choose one action today. Don't wait until next week. Don't wait until things calm down. Pick one-step automate savings, open a freedom fund, set up a retirement account, schedule a money date, and do it today. Because your millionaire future begins not with someday, but with today. Final thought. We've come to the end of this book, but your journey is just beginning. Your millionaire future isn't about luck. It isn't about waiting. It's about building a system so powerful that success becomes inevitable. And when you follow it, you'll not only build wealth, you'll build peace, freedom, and a life filled with joy and purpose. So step into your millionaire future. Claim it, live it, share it. Because the truth is, you don't have to dream of becoming a millionaire someday. With the system you now hold in your hands, you've already started. And if you're listening on YouTube, I want you to share in the comments. What does your millionaire future look like? Let's inspire each other. And while you're at it, like this video, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs hope. Your future is automatic. Your future is abundant. Your future is waiting. And it begins right now.